It's a final. It's fait accompli. It's in the books. Who's the biggest winner, Peter, besides the Rams and everything they were able to do?
I'm going to go with those guys. I really am. I do think they are the biggest winner of the weekend because they played this thing strategically. They didn't start their starters in Week 18, and they all rested. And the reason they did that was because they said, we'll play whoever, whenever, wherever. Little did they realize that wherever would be outside of their own stadium in Week 1. They absolutely destroyed a Vikings team that came in with a 14-3 record. This was as big a shellacking as any this entire weekend. And considering what the Rams overcame over the last week to get to this point, it's really miraculous. But I also think it's momentum, and they just showed we can overcome anything. And I know that's sometimes we make sports into bigger than it is. This is real life stuff. And a lot of people who work for the Rams had to evacuate and don't know how their home is doing as they fly back to LA this weekend. But if you think that this doesn't galvanize a team and gives them some motivation to know that they're playing for more than just money and more than just a potential Super Bowl ring, they're playing for a city. They are playing for a state, and they are now representing Los Angeles in a way that I think sees fit. What a cool win last night if you're a Rams fan, and what an impressive performance. Look, I was in the building when the Eagles just ran up and down and Saquon went for 300 yards from scrimmage against the Rams earlier this season. This feels like a different Rams unit, and it certainly feels like a different Rams defense who sacked Sam Darnold 9 times yesterday and made Kevin O'Connell just look downright confused in the final 30 minutes of that game.
Yeah, it was confusing to watch, too. I mean, just the way they applied that pressure. Looking at the AFC, on the AFC side, the team, I think, who absolutely won the wild card for me was the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, you have this nice matchup between the AFC East champion and the AFC North champion. These two guys going head to head. And these are also, too, the MVP Bowl, whatever you want to call it. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. This is going to be a great opportunity to really answer the question. I think this answers the question that so many people are hung up on. Kyle, you've talked about it so much about, how divisive this can be when you start getting into the nitty-gritty of it. But when I look at the matchup, I look at the opportunity for Lamar Jackson to get back at the Bills and Josh Allen. He's 0-1 against them in the playoffs. That run defense for the Bills, that is the weakest part of this defense. And I think Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, they are going to exploit the heck out of the Bills in that run defense.
It sets up to be something interesting and awkward because it's very possible that the quarterback that loses that game wins MVP.
Yeah.
So they're going to show up at honors, and everyone's been fighting about this for 3 months. And let's just say it's Josh Allen wins MVP, and it's like, well, you lost a couple weeks ago to Lamar or vice versa. It's all just beautiful. It's awkward, and this thing has been one of the wildest conversations we've had about that topic ever. But I'm also at the place where I'm like, let's not forget. We were thinking about last night a lot, and I was impressed with the Rams too. I will say, Peter, I was intrigued by what you said about the galvanizing storyline, and that it's not just a one-game thing. It could carry, and it could carry. It also, sometimes we get to the point where, it finally caught up with them. Look at what we've talked about with Buffalo a couple years ago and all the things that they went through, and DeMar Hamlin. And after that loss, in which they were really flat to Cincinnati at home, a common take, I think even from the players themselves, where we were so mentally exhausted and it had been so much, we just finally ran out of gas. It could go that way with the Rams, or they could just ride this thing. It's a fascinating factor, and I was really impressed last night. But let's not forget Jaden Daniels. Let's not forget what Washington did in the wild card round, and it was seamless, and he didn't even blink. This end of the game is something that I feel like I'll remember for a long time. It was so impressive, and now listen, it's Tuesday, right? It's like middle of the show Tuesday.
Yep.
We can start talking about the next games. Do you think that Detroit is thrilled that he's coming?
No.
Would they rather have maybe taken their chance with someone they know a little bit more about, maybe that has a little bit less ability, playoff-tested head coach through and through, and a quarterback now that Jaden's beaten Tampa and he's got his playoff win, he is squarely in the nothing-to-lose territory.
Yeah.
They go to Detroit and lose. Who cares? Everyone thinks you will. Everyone's proud of you. Not only did you make the playoffs as a rookie with that franchise, you won a game. It is done. Your job is finished. Make your travel plans. Or go throw it 50 times, and you might have to. The bad matchups for the Lions are just the teams who can score. They scored 42 points, Detroit did, on Buffalo and lost. So, because Buffalo can score. Washington can score. I don't know if they can score enough, but I really genuinely think that I don't think Washington defense is particularly strong. I don't think Detroit's defense is particularly healthy. I think it may need 35 points from Washington to win this game, which means Jaden's just going to have to say, let's leave it all on the field, and that will be worth the price of admission. Commanders, Lions, I think Washington won the wild card round.
That's an awesome answer. I like what you said about the MVP quarterbacks going head-to-head in Buffalo because it sets up for something awkward. At Honors on the Thursday night of Super Bowl week, I'm going to be backstage conducting interviews. Can you imagine one of those guys coming off the stage after they're handed the MVP and what that conversation is supposed to be like?
I can. Jamie, I have done that job before.
Yeah?
It's mostly fun.
Oh, so I get it because you don't want to do it.
No, I haven't done it for years. No, I haven't done it for years. I did it years ago, and it's a great job. You'll really like it, and you'll be very good at it.
Oh, thanks.
It's almost all incredible because they just won an award.
Yeah.
But if Josh Allen wins the MVP and he lost the divisional to Lamar, the question is sort of like, yeah, but you did lose to Lamar. I mean, it could be potentially very awkward.
Yeah,
so
I don't
good luck with that.
Thank you so much. I have a couple
Jamie, you have the job because I was fired from it. I wasn't good at it. That's the reason why.
Okay.